Alright, to remove the coilover suspension so you can replace control arms. First, you need the jack pads put under the body and jack it up. You're going to need a second jack to lift this up enough to disconnect the sway bar. And you're going to pull the trim. This is a 13 millimeter. There's 3 of them. You can leave them loose, but it shouldn't come crashing down. Last time I did it. Alright, so bring you in here. I got this second jack lifting up enough, because the key to get this one bolt here is taking this sway bar link off. These are 15 millimeter. You're gonna need a soft hammer, dead blow. This is a good time to replace your sway bar disconnect links. And you can, well, let the pressure off. Then that bolt will come out. That nut is 21 millimeter and the bolt's 21 millimeter also. So once those 3 are off up there, you see it is loose. You're going to need to remove this clip. How did I get this before? Basically, you can just pry it off carefully. There's a piece that gets hammered in below. Then you take that brake line off. So now Might have to move sway bar link. I should have taken that out of the way. Space starts getting a little tight in here. Make sure you know which end is up on the sway bar link. Okay, still too tight. I was able to get it out before when I replaced these arms, because if you take the nut off that's on underneath, you pop that ball joint out, this will sag a little bit more. You can also take this apart, but it wasn't necessary for me to get this out last time when I replaced these arms. But the point of this video was to be able to get this without getting a spring compressor to replace these arms. So you need to get an alignment after you replace them. If you're careful, you can mark the way these go, because how you turn them and tighten them, the channel they ride in, that will affect the alignment. So this is a 2013 Model S. The bolt was going through this way, so you can't remove it without dropping the battery. But there's lots of good videos that I followed, you can link through, where you will cut it. So once you loosen it, you can cut it underneath, and I cut within the bracket to try not to mangle the bracket or the battery, to use that as a guide. If you're replacing these, you can sacrifice them, cut in there. There's enough space to then you could push the bolt out to, I mean, you can turn it to cut the other side, so because you have a very limited access. And the best tool I found was an angle grinder. I tried the multi-tool and I couldn't get in enough. Sawzall, I couldn't get in enough around without taking more of this assembly off. So the angle grinder you could cut here just far enough and rotate the bolt and cut the other part, and then push it out and pull the bolt out. Then when you replace them, you put the bolt in the opposite way. These bolts sometimes come with aftermarket arms I got on Amazon, or you can buy new ones. I had bought two, not knowing that, from Tesla for like $10 a piece. And recommend doing both sides, and you can inspect everything else. Once it was already identified, there's ball joints on the tie rod, the sway bar, these two arms, this upper arm that wears. You can take this apart and inspect it. And the bushing, you can see there's bushings on those ends that wear. These coilovers, they can wear, but besides getting a bad ride, see a leak, fluid, they're pretty good rides because these are Bilsteins. So put it back together. Once you had it taken this apart, you have to line up the holes from underneath. Help to get your bolt started, because that will hold that into place so you can get the nuts back on up here. If you don't disconnect that sway bar link, there'll be too much pressure on this bolt here to be able to remove this control arm. sway bar link goes on the inside. Not the outside. Not the outside. So you'll have to use your second jack. There you go. Once you got it lifted up enough, Alright, so just make sure you get these jack pads that go in the jack point under the body. There's 3 holes. You use the middle one. And now you can just make sure you torque everything to specs. This bolt that's underneath, everything you touched, and these up top, these 3, and you can put your wheel back on. And one thing with these, I don't know if it on the newer ones are like that, but the older ones I had seen in videos and found out myself that they mar up and start to split real good. So it's good to pick up an extra set to have, and maybe even a few, because these come in packs of 4, or you can buy a bigger set on Amazon. And good to keep some spare for, these are 7/8, and if you want a breaker bar, and these older rear motor Model S have enough space for It's a full-size wheel, and you can keep a jack in there or in the trunk. Thank you. That's how you remove the strut, because everything I found about these cars are mainly the air suspension, which doesn't pertain to a lot of them. When you're trying to do those control arms, you have to remove that. Well, thank you. I hope that was helpful.